Hi, everybody. We have breaking news to announce here for Red Sox Nation. We have some pretty good smiles on our face. We got news that the Red Sox have fired Chaim Bloom. He has been removed from his job as baseball ops. I don't know about you, Terry. I want to welcome you in, but I am happy. Number one, I think a lot of people are feeling pretty good today, but I didn't think it was going to come this quick. I thought they were going to wait till maybe after the season. So, want to hear your take on this whole thing? We're going to talk a little bit about what we expect the future to look like here, who the replacement's going to be, and moving forward without Chaim Bloom.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily expect it today. I'd been kind of reading the tea leaves for a little while now, and it really felt like they were gonna let him go. They got ahead of the rumors last year, the final week of August, and said that he would come back for 2023, and they didn't do that this year. They didn't. They weren't making any assurances to the public. So the longer it went, theoretically, the worse it should be for him, in terms of keeping his job. And in the last 48 hours, you've had David Stearns, who was thought to possibly be a Red Sox target or a person of interest. He got hired by the Mets. Mike Rizzo extended yesterday by the Nationals. There, a lot of people seem to want him for the job. And, so finally today they got it done. And, it's going to take a while per Sam Kennedy. They said it's going to be a broader search. So the earlier, the better, because when November 1st hits, you got qualifying offers to dole out. If anybody's going to get them, you got to non-tender players, possibly sign other non-tendered players from other teams. So there's a lot going on. The GM meetings happen in November, and then the winter meetings take place in December. So you really want to get it done. And man, everybody's been congratulating me in my DMs and text messages. It's like I had a baby or something.
I've had the same kind of reflect. I'm looking at messages like, "Oh, you must be happy. Like this is a good day for you and everything." I'm like, we've wanted this for a while. I mean, now we've got Bloom out of here. The biggest thing is now determining again, like you just said, who the successor is going to be, and the plan moving forward. My first question I want to ask you is, do you think Chaim Bloom is the only domino that falls here, or are there other moves that are going to be made?
Well, it seems that Alex Cora will be back next year. Sam Kennedy says that's his expectation. So I think we can kind of rule that out now. And just so everyone knows, our actual, we did a full podcast on this that's up as well. So when you're done here, please go over there and check that out. But I do hope that Dave Bush is the next guy. He's my new public enemy number one until that gets resolved, because I don't think he did any justice to this major league pitching program. And it might have been a fatal error by Bloom to not replace him last winter. Perhaps, some of these guys would have performed a little bit better. But it's really just pitching from here. I'm not a huge Cora guy, but I'm okay if he comes back. You can't have everything, right?
No, you can't really. If we could have it our way, it would be a whole lot different. But we'll take the baby steps to get there.
It would be the one of the final scenes in The Godfather where everybody's getting whacked, but maybe that's a little too sadistic. But and it had to happen though. I mean, for me, people will say that I was anti-Chaim from the beginning, but I was critical, perhaps from the beginning. I thought it was a good hire and I expected better. And, I hated the Garrett Richards signing. Every winter we kind of strung ourselves along with the expectation that we were going to make some splashes and we were going to finally see what Chaim was capable of. And
we never did.
I expected trades to happen. Like, I figured Chaim would pluck someone out of somebody else's system that maybe hadn't broken out yet, or someone that was struggling, and he'd be able to turn them into like a number 3 starter. That never happened, not one time. And then, I hated the Waka signing. I ended up liking it in the end. And the final straw for me was last winter when he signed Corey Kluber, a guy who had only thrown, I'm not exaggerating, literally 36 fastballs in 2022, and he gives him $10 million. There's no difference between the Cora signing and the Garrett Richards signing. It was the same mindset all along, the same fatally flawed mindset that ultimately culminated in a bunch of last place finishes. And you can't survive in Boston with that.
I think fans were expecting Bloom to come over and to build up a team very similar to what Tampa was made of. That's why I feel like John Henry was so invested on going this route, was to not have to pay as much on contracts, to do the systems that Tampa has made. Well, those systems epically failed. They failed. The opener starters, the sign-in bargains by the bagful types, they blew up in your face. They really did. So this whole philosophy is now down the drain. We can move forward, which I think a lot of people are very happy with. The other big question here to determine is Cora. Cora definitely seems like he's back. But as they do their search for a general manager and try and figure things out, we already know Sam Kennedy has come out and said that Theo Epstein is not a name that's going to be considered. I don't think that the whole Theo thing is dead, though, yet. And I don't know what you feel on the matter, but can Sam Kennedy survive this or get reassigned to something maybe within Fenway Sports Groups? And then number 2, if Alex Cora is here, would Alex Cora make the transition as GM?
A lot to unpack there. I'm still not a believer in the Epstein thing. Perhaps he could be like a consultant to put this next front office together. I don't know if that would be a conflict of interest with his current position with MLB. Not really sure. I would love for Sam Kennedy to get fired. The minute that guy gets put on TV for an interview or the radio or a podcast, everything that comes out of his mouth is just political innuendo. Like, I don't believe a thing this guy says.
It's a clown show. That's why I don't believe this Theo Epstein thing today. I don't.
Well, we'll see. I think that's a long shot. And you mentioned Alex Cora transitioning to the front office. I don't know how that would go. I mean, I don't really want to be the guinea pigs on that experiment. Maybe he ends up being a brilliant GM or player executive, and but I just rather not be the ones to go that route. Like I said, I'm fine with him being the manager. I don't know if the people in those positions need some type of a law degree or not, because when you're negotiating like contracts and stuff, there's a lot of legalities in there.
Yeah, you've seen a couple guys in the past come from Stanford, Yale, that sort of mix where they have that experience to know the business aspect of making the deals and contracts.
Right. So, I probably shouldn't speak on that, but I'd just rather keep Alex Cora as the manager. He's had some blunders this year, and he's had some runs where he really got the most out of not a lot. So, he was always the lesser, of any of the evils, really. And I've noticed in the last few days, he has seemed a little bit more at ease.
Big time.
He has, and he was on the Heyman podcast and Joel Sherman yesterday, and he didn't exactly confirm he was coming back, but strongly gave the impression he was going to be back. And that drove my anxiety up for the Bloom situation. I'm like, oh my God, is he
They're
coming?
Gonna keep both of them. Yep.
Exactly.
Another year of doing the same song and dance. We couldn't survive that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just, I'm just finally glad it's over. I mentioned this for the first time on the regular podcast several minutes ago. But there was a thought in my mind where if Bloom came back next year, was I going to have to step aside from the podcast? Because this year has been just brutal. It's just been so brutal, and I'm like, I can't give these same takes for another year. I can't
We
do
needed
that.
something fresh.
Exactly. Exactly.
Figure out what the future it's going to hold from everything, and hopefully, with a new signing and a new person that's in charge, the Red Sox can get back to their championship ways. Well, we want to thank everybody here for joining us on this breaking news edition of Chaim Bloom Out of Here. We look forward to talking with you more as we wrap up the Yankee series later tonight. We'll see you all soon. Have a great rest of your day.